What is up, guys? It's your boy Blue Eyes 1130, back at it again with another video. Now, this video, I know it's a little bit different from what I usually post. I usually post videos and stuff and do streams about horror games and survival games, but today I was just playing a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh, just for fun, nothing really serious, and I was looking through some of my old replays that I ended up using some variations of Exodia in them, and I thought they were pretty cool. I got some pretty cool wins there, some pretty funny moments happened, and I thought that I would share them with you guys. I thought it would be pretty cool, and I feel like, it would be criminal to not post at least one Yu-Gi-Oh video, considering my name is Blue Eyes and most people assume that is because I am a Blue Eyes White Dragon fan. So maybe at least a small percentage of my fans might be Yu-Gi-Oh fans. I might have clickbaited a little bit with my name there, but I promise that was not my intention. I actually have blue eyes. But anyways, enough rambling on. Let's get into this. Actually, real quick. Sorry, I know I said enough rambling on, but before I start the replays, I want to make a quick disclaimer here. I do not in any way advise anybody watching this video right now to go out and craft an Exodia deck in Master Duel if you are looking to play competitively. These decks that I'm going to be showcasing here today are solely for the purpose of having fun. They are purely messing around decks. They are not competitive against today's meta. If you use this deck, unironically, you are going to get destroyed. These decks are mainly just, for memes and to have fun. So if you're looking to climb the rank ladder, this is not the deck for you. You will be wasting your craft points. With that being said, let's get straight into the replays now. So, the first replay today here will be, this is going to be the first time I kind of experimented with Exodia in Master Duel. It was actually during the NR tournament in Yu-Gi-Oh! It was a festival where only cards that Yu-Gi-Oh! Deemed normal or rare quality were allowed to participate. So for some reason, in all the festivals that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has had, the actual Exodia, the head of Exodia, has been banned. So you can't make an actual, Exodia win condition deck. You can't win by summoning Exodia. However, the limbs are not banned. Exodia's limbs have never been banned in any festival. So that's what this variation of Exodia was utilizing. It was utilizing its limbs, and it was utilizing its support cards. So this duel here, I'm not going to show off this duel, because this duel, towards the end, it basically just became a contest to see who could gain the most life points. My ultimate goal in that duel was to gain 100,000 life points. So it kind of became a bit of a boring duel after a while. It wasn't very much action to it. Now this duel here is a bit more interesting, so I'm going to go ahead and showcase it. Now, it does say here that I was in gold rank, but also keep in mind that this was a festival where rank doesn't really matter, because nobody's using their actual deck, They kind of just made a deck last minute for the tournament. So I wouldn't really take the rank into consideration of this tournament when deciding whether or not this deck is truly competitive, because it really does not matter at all. But here we go. Now, with this iteration of Exodia, basically the point of it is to stall for as long as I can and gain life points until I can get my boss monsters out onto the field and attack the game. In this duel, I'm actually going up against a Psy-Frame deck, And I started off here by placing down Marshmallow, Jar of Greed, and Compulsory Evacuation. Now, since he attacked my face down Marshmallow, he takes 1,000 damage due to its effect. So he attacks Marshmallow, can't destroy it, so he ends his turn, activates Paleozoic to banish it, then returns it to my graveyard for some odd reason. I guess he did that just so he could summon this or something. Yeah, I guess he had to. He didn't really have a choice. He just wanted that summon. So now, if I remember correctly, he's summoning a monster that lets him gain life points during the end phase. Yeah, for each psychic type monster he controls. I wasn't having any of it, so I immediately evacuated it with my trap card. The point of this deck is, you know, to get my life points sky high and bring his to 0, so I obviously didn't want him gaining life points. But, unfortunately for me, he was able to summon it again. And welcome back, Magical Android. But unfortunately for you, you are attacking into another face-down Marshmallow. And then he gains 600 life points. Now it's my turn. I draw yet another piece of Exodia, and I set it face down. Now, in this duel, I actually end up misplaying, which I'm very disappointed about. Now, later in the tournament, I started using the strategy that ended up working really well. So what I would do is, with this hand right here, I would summon the left leg of the Forbidden One, or any limb for that matter. Then I would summon Exodia, the Ultimate Forbidden Lord, by bringing every monster from my graveyard back into my deck. Then I would summon the legendary Exodia Incarnate, sending a piece to the graveyard, and then I would attack with Exodia, the Ultimate Forbidden Lord, which his effect sends a normal monster to the graveyard, and for each limb in the graveyard, he gains 1,000 attacks. So then I would have had 2 monsters with 2,000 attack. But I didn't play that strategy there for some reason. I don't know why I didn't play that strategy. Like right now, you know, it wouldn't make sense to do it because he has monsters that are over 2k attack. But before, like when he didn't have those monsters, it would have been a really smart play, and I don't know why I, you know, like I guess didn't notice it or whatever. But yeah, I'm really disappointed in myself. So here, you know, I'm just gaining life points. Played Cauldron of the Old Man, then I played a Jar Turtle here because I really didn't have anything else I could do. I mean, I could have summoned Exodia, the Ultimate Forbidden Lord, but due to the fact that his summoning condition, you have to bring every monster from your graveyard back, it wouldn't have done me any good because he would have been a monster with 0 attack. So just wouldn't have made very much sense, you know? So now that my field's empty, he's going to attack me directly and take out a big chunk of my life points. Sad days, you hate to see it. But we're hanging it strong. We actually got a very good card here in Obliterate. The trap card Obliterate, which it is not showing the description for some reason. Great game, Konami, great game. But anyways, what Obliterate does is, as you saw there, it sends a piece of Exodia to the graveyard, or any Exodia card to the graveyard, and then it basically acts as a compulsory evacuation device. Now the way I have this deck set up, it's basically an infinite compulsory evacuation device, because I can keep using that effect and I can keep recycling the pieces, sending them back into my deck, as you just saw there with the effect of Exodius, the Ultimate Forbidden Lord. Now he banished my Exodius, but it doesn't really matter because he wasn't meant to be out on the field forever. All he was meant to do was get my Exodia pieces out of the graveyard. So now I can stop Mr. or Mrs. Mateen here from playing the game altogether, because anytime they try to normal summon, I'm just gonna bounce that card right back to their hand. And another play I really like to do with this deck, which you saw there earlier, is I like to get a kaiju, and if they summon a big monster, I can kaiju it, then use Obliterate on my own kaiju. since Obliterate returns the monster card back to its owner's hand, since I'm the owner, I get my kaiju back, so I can kaiju another monster if I need to. And then the next turn, I can use the Obliterate on that same kaiju again, and then just rinse and repeat. It's a nice way to, you know, control the board. So there he flipped his Paleozoic. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. But yeah, he flips that so he can finally get rid of my Obliterate. So that card is finally gone. He was finally able to get rid of that. But too little too late, because now I have 2 Aroma Jars on the field. One of them is flipped face up, so I'm constantly gaining life points every turn. He got his magical android again, so he gains 600 points at the end of every life phase. As per usual, you know, a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players, majority of Yu-Gi-Oh players do not read card effects at all, so he tried to destroy my Aroma Jar by battle, which of course we know cannot be destroyed by battle if it was flipped face up. So there I kaiju'd his magical android. Now, compulsory evacuation device, and I take my kaiju back. He activated something in the graveyard. What was that effect? Okay, so I could special summon it. Alright, so it's one of the trap cards activated while it's in the graveyard. So there, since I ended up flipping Aroma Jar, I flipped it because he wasn't attacking it. So since I had to flip it, you know, it had to stay in attack position for that turn. So he was able to attack me and do some damage there, which will eventually be able to stop ourselves from taking damage completely, because I have Clock Tower Prism here. For those of you who don't know what this card does, it gains a clock counter at the end of each turn, and if it has 4 or more clock counters on it, you take no battle damage. So once this thing gets 4 clock counters on it, I will take no battle damage no matter what. Unless, of course, it gets destroyed, you know? So here, I'm just gaining 500 life points, 500 life points, you know, I'm getting 1,000 life points at the end, at every end phase. Here I flip Legacy of Yata to draw 1 card. And there I draw Jar Turtle. Now, Jar Turtle, what it does, for those of you who don't know, if it's on the field, it turns Jar of Greed into Pot of Greed. Because its effect reads, each time Jar of Greed is activated, draw 1 card. Now that stacks with the effect of Jar of Greed, which is draw 1 card. So you're drawing 1 card from Jar of Greed and then drawing 1 card from Jar Turtle. So it basically makes it a Pot of Greed, as you'll see here. Draw 1 card, draw 2 cards. Got another Obliterate, kaiju'd his monster. What did I kaiju there? Oh, I kaiju'd his Synchro. I kaiju his Synchro, and then next turn, y'all already know what we're gonna do. You already know what we're gonna do. Gonna get our kaiju right back into the hand. So now, going back to the main phase, he's gonna summon Iron Chain Snake and lower my Jar Turtle's attack to 0, which that's completely fine. We don't need Jar Turtle anymore. It served its purpose, it fought hard, and it died with honor. So now it is my turn, and I finally drew the powerhouse of the deck, the Cauldron of the Old Man. Now this card, I can either gain life points with it, or attack my opponent with it, and usually I'll gain some life points, but here I already had 13, so I chose to immediately go on the offensive with it. I kaiju'd his monster, and then obliterated my own kaiju to send it back to my hand. Attacked directly with Exodius, the Ultimate Forbidden Lord, and then he summoned those cards, which for some reason activated a sequence that would destroy my Exodius. Hold on, let me read this effect. Or not. That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. I mean, so let's see. Must be summoned by a card effect. Cannot be special in other ways. Once monster hits attack, while you control a monster, you can summon both this card from your hand and one side from yours. Oh, okay, there we go. And then end the battle phase. So yeah, he attacked into my face not much more on there, took another 1000 damage. Love to see it. So now, you already know what we're gonna do. Gonna start standby phase, that's gonna get a counter. We're gonna use it, damage him for 600. Oh wait, I actually didn't kaiju him that time. That's surprising. I wonder why I didn't kaiju him. What's the effect? As both that monster in the scar from the field. It's in the graveyard. That's probably why I didn't kaiju it, because I didn't want it to activate its graveyard effect. But yeah, as you can see here now, I'm just whittling away his life points little bit by little bit. You know, slowly but surely, Mateen over here is going to be no more. So yeah, that's basically the main point of this deck, is to stall out until you can get the cards necessary to either burn your opponent or attack for game with boss monsters. The boss monsters being Exodia the Ultimate Forbidden Lord, or the Legendary Exodia Incarnate. So there we go, I played another Jar Turtle there. I played it in attack position because I have more than 4 clock counters on my clock tower prison already, so it won't matter if they attack it. If they attack it, it'll just get destroyed, but I won't take any damage from it. Flip my Jar of Greed there, or I guess we'd call it Pot of Greed now because Jar Turtle is on the field. Draw 2 cards there, draw another Obliterate, you love to see it. Drew another Clock Tower Prism just in case he finally decides to read card effects and notices that this card is a problem. So he chose not to attack there, so my Jar Turtle survived. I flipped it into defense, finally kaiju'd his XCs, and then obliterated my own kaiju to get it back. And then my turn, got another 1000 life points. I am now at 22,000. Oh my god, he summoned Magic Irons right from the graveyard. I, of course, obliterated it because I'm trying to get his life points to 0 here. I don't want him to gain any more life points. So, of course, I don't want him to have a card that's going to give him 600 points at the end of every end phase. So, Cauldron of the Old Man gains another counter. I obliterate my own Jar Turtle. Then I summon Exodia, the Ultimate Forbidden Lord. Then I use the Cauldron of the Old Man, and I end my turn. I get got 1000 life points. The reason I summoned Exodia, the Ultimate Forbidden Lord there was to get all of my Exodia pieces back from the graveyard, because I really need them to activate this effect here. I activated Waboku, so now my monsters can't be destroyed by battle. It only lasts for 1 turn though, but it came in clutch there. I use Obliterate to not only bounce this card back to his hand, but also send an Exodia piece to the graveyard, increasing Exodia, the Ultimate Forbidden Lord's attack power by 1000. And as you know, his effect is to send a normal monster to the graveyard, so he gets another 1000, attacks directly for 2000, and then I end the game by burning him with Cauldron of the Old Man. And that is the very first iteration of my Exodia deck. Then after the NR festival ended, you know, obviously that deck wouldn't work anymore, so I had to evolve. I had to make another deck, but of course I couldn't figure out how to make a good, you know, Exodia deck. I didn't have a lot of crafting materials, so instead I dropped a few ranks. I stopped playing the game for a couple of months, came back when I was in silver rank, and then I created this deck. And I must say, this is probably the funniest victory I have ever gotten in Master Duel. I absolutely love this replay, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. Without further ado, Here we go. Second iteration of Exodia the Forbidden One. In this one, this wasn't a festival, so I can actually use Exodia's head. So you are going to actually see Exodia get summoned in this duel. Stay tuned. So it opens up. I have two pieces of Exodia, two Pendulum Normal Monsters, and a Pot of Extravagance. So now this card right here, Heart of the Underdog, this is the real MVP in this deck. This is the real power, the meat and bones, the alpha, you could say, of this deck. This is what holds the deck together. Without this card, this deck would not work. Now, unfortunately, for the next few turns, I was drawing kind of dead hands, so I'm going to be taking some heavy damage here. I'm actually very lucky that I won this duel, I'm not going to lie, because I was getting some really bad draws, I'm not going to lie. I was getting some really, really bad draws. You know, I could have summoned one of this pendulum right here, but you know, it only would have served as protection for one turn, because you know, he summoned some really high attack monsters and the defense is only 1900, so wouldn't really have done me too much good, so I decided to just hold on to it until I get some more monsters in my hand so I could pendulum. But yeah, I just held off here. So next turn, my Shard of Greed gains enough counters to finally activate. Then I can activate it like Pot of Greed. Now I have 3 underdogs. Place 2 pendulum in my scales. And I pendulum summon 2 monsters defense position. High defense position monsters. You know, they're still pretty weak. However, there's 2 of them. So that's the major difference this time around. That's why I did the pendulum summon. So now it summons this fusion monster, which this fusion monster, what it does, when it attacks the monster, it destroys it, and you could deal, I think, half of its defense and burn damage. But now this is where it gets hilarious. Now when we come over here, during the draw phase, when you draw a normal monster, you can reveal it. Draw 1 more card. This is not a once per turn effect. It chains and it can happen over and over again. So what that means, I just drew a normal monster here. This is gonna activate. This is gonna activate, and this is gonna activate. I'm gonna draw 3 cards, and if the 3rd card happens to be a normal monster, this card activates, this card activates, this card activates, and if the 3rd one's a normal monster, rinse and repeat. It just keeps on and keeps on happening. With that being said, enjoy. Oh man, Exodia! Obliterate! That has got to be my favorite Exodia summon of all time. I started off the duel with one of the worst hands I could start with. Took countless amounts of damage, to the point where if I had not been in silver, I would have probably gotten OTK there. I'm not gonna lie. The only reason I got this win was because I was in silver. But I endured so much punishment, and then at the last moment, Heart of the Underdog lived up to its name and just gave me the most unlikely win ever. That is by far my favorite replay here. Unfortunately, that is the only replay I have saved of that deck. However, I do still have that deck. And I am planning to stop playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For a couple of months after the next month, because I want to drop back down in rank so I can use fun decks again, because I'm really not enjoying myself in Platinum. Last month I was in Diamond. It was a horror show with all the meta decks. But I am planning to drop back down in rank, so who knows? You might get to see more replays like that with the Heart of the Underdog Exodia deck. Just maybe. There's some other decks I want to try out too. It's going to be a fun time. So that's not the last you've seen of that deck. But with that being said, without further ado, the third iteration of my Exodia deck. Now this one doesn't waste any time. This one doesn't, win over the span of multiple turns. This one attempts to summon the Forbidden One on the very first turn. Enjoy. So, as with any good FTK Exodia deck, of course you're gonna put in Royal Magical Library or something to get it out. Now me, a lot of people like to use the map. I don't really like the map because if you don't open up with it, it's a brick. Like, you absolutely have to open up with the map. If not, it becomes a brick. So, instead of the map, I like to use this monster, Summoner Monk. So while this card is faced upon the field, it cannot be tributed. So they can't kaiju it. That doesn't really matter in this deck, but that's something interesting to note. This card is no more flip summon, change this card to defense position. That's fine. That's not really the effect we're looking for. The effect we're looking at is once per turn, you can discard one spell, special summon one level 4 monster from your deck. But that monster cannot attack this turn. That's okay. We don't need it to. We just need that level 4 monster. And who is that level 4 monster? You guessed it. Ya boy, the Royal Magical Library. Now, if you notice there, the card I chose for my quote-unquote cost is the Cursed Bamboo Sword. So, that cost becomes a benefit for me, because by sending the Cursed Bamboo Sword, I can add one Bamboo Sword card from my deck to my hand. And the one I chose here was the Golden Bamboo Sword, obviously. Now, I equip one of my monsters with Broken Bamboo Sword, and now with Golden Bamboo Sword, I can draw 2 cards. And you get the gist of it. I'm basically just using a bunch of spells, adding spell counters to Royal Magical Library, so when I get 3 counters on the Royal Magical Library, I can draw an extra card with this effect. But now that you know exactly what this deck does, let me speed it up for you and let's enjoy. You know, I just like to wonder, like, while I'm watching these replays, or even while I'm actually doing the duel, like while I'm doing all these combos, if you want to call them that. I don't really consider them combos, you know, it's just, but I call it that for lack of a better term. But I wonder, while I'm doing all this, while I'm basically over here playing solitaire, I'm always wondering what my opponent is thinking, if they're even paying attention to the duel at this point. Like, they're probably just off, you know, they're not even paying attention at this point. They're probably just like watching YouTube or something. And if they are watching, they're probably like, yo, Am I really about to get Exodia right now in platinum? Because this deck, by the way, this I ended up using it in platinum because I was bored. I was in platinum and I just kept encountering nothing but meta decks, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna use the Exodia deck, see if I could pull off a funny Exodia win, and I ended up doing just that. So yeah, this was actually a platinum. This is one of the 2 platinum replays I have, and what is very unfortunate for these people about these, oh yeah, so there I actually drew Exodia. That's awesome. That was actually pretty quick. That was probably because I need to fast forward, because those turns usually take a while because the way Yu-Gi-Oh! RNG works. Let's not talk about the RNG. But anyways, it's actually very unfortunate because the people I dueled, not only did they lose to an Exodia in Platinum, but that duel was their D-rank duel. Before that duel started, they got the dreaded message, lose and you'll lose a rank. And then they have to do this. And all they see is Exodia sending them back to the previous rank. And I can only imagine the disappointment being felt by my opponents. Truly heartbreaking, truly unfortunate. But yeah, that's, you know, just the usual here. I think I made one small edit to this deck, but it wasn't really much, you know? I mainly just use magical stone to, like, sometimes if I don't have a good hand to play, I'll send 2 Exodia limbs to the graveyard to get back Golden Bamboo Sword, because I actually run Dark Factory of Mass Production in this deck. And what that does, for those of you who don't know, I can target 2 normal monsters in my graveyard and add them back to my hand. Exodia's limbs are all normal monsters, so I can use that to bring them back. So, this guy thought he was smart here. He waited for me to play the Golden Bamboo Sword, and then he played the Ash Blossom because he thought that would stop me. Now, normally, a negate kills this deck. You know, negates are very dangerous. You gotta watch out for negates with this deck. One negate is really bad news for it. However, I guess he thought I was gonna surrender here. I guess he thought, you know, oh, I win. Which flips the card and thinks that's it. But no. You don't stop playing. It's not over until the last card is played. So we take the negate. We take it like a man. It still gives us a spell counter. We have another Golden Bamboo Sword. We play it, get the 3rd spell counter, and we use the effect of Royal Magical Library. Chicken Game gets us another Exodia piece. There we go. Magical Stone Excavation. Send 2 limbs to the graveyard. Get another Golden Bamboo Sword. Draw 2 more cards. Dark Factor Mass Production gets those Exodia pieces right back into my hand. You'll love to see it. And that's the 3rd spell counter from Magical Library. Draw 1 more card. Foolish Burial Goods, send a Cursed Bamboo Sword. We all know what happens when Cursed Bamboo Sword goes to the graveyard. Get ourselves another Golden Bamboo Sword there. Play it. And now into the void, let's just draw 1 more card. It's basically an Upstart Goblin if you have 3 or more cards in your hand. Double summon, so I can get another Royal Magical Library on the field when I need to. Pseudo Space, banish Chicken Game, now it becomes Chicken Game, draw 1 more card, and now I Magical Mallet my entire hand. Because I don't really have anything that I can use here. So now I draw a whole bunch of cards, activate Royal Magical Library again, put down a 2nd Royal Magical Library, Pseudo Space, and now you can see what's coming next. Now, instead of 1 Magical Library, I have 2, so there are 2 cards gaining counters. I am constantly damaging myself with Chicken Game to draw 1 card, a small price to pay for +1. Anyways, yeah, I'm just playing a whole bunch of spell cards there, getting a whole bunch of spell counters. And there we go. Finally drew Exodia with 3 spell counters on each Royal Magical Library. Here we go. Exodia Obliterate. And that was the final duel with that version of the deck. Now, the new version I play is actually very similar. It's an OTK, but I did change some things in it. What I changed is there is no more Card of Demise. Now, the reason I took out Card of Demise is because Card of Demise locks you out of special summon, and if you've already special summoned, it becomes a brick. And in my deck, I actually do special summon because it does help me unbrick myself in a lot of situations. So being able to special summon is definitely very good in this deck, so I didn't want to be locked out on that, so I chose to take out Card of Demise. And another thing I took out but I replaced it was the Dark Factory in mass production. The reason I replaced it is because Dark Factory in mass production, you can target 2 normal monsters and return them to your hand. Now the problem with that is Exodia's head is an effect monster, so you cannot target it with that card. And I would run into some situations where I would have no choice but to send Exodia's head to the graveyard, and that would be game over because I would have no way to get it back from that graveyard. So I ended up replacing Dark Factory with Monster Reincarnation. Discard a card, target 1 monster in your graveyard, return it to your hand. But yeah, those were the changes made to that deck. Let me go ahead and find a duel here with it. I'm only going to show off one duel with this deck. Just to show y'all, you know, how it plays out. So let me go your replays. I'm actually going to show 2 because there's one that I really do want to show off, actually. Let's see, is it this one? Is this replay with Exodia or Madri? I mean, it's an FBK, so more than likely it's Exodia. I don't FBK with my Madri. Let's go ahead and see. Hopefully this is not one way they surrendered. So yeah, I opened up with Summon a Monk here. Summon a Monk here, got my Royal Magical Library. Hey that. Yeah, so this yeah, this is the new version of my Exodia deck here. Yep, just go on, you know, summoning. I find that this version of the deck actually flows a lot better than the last one with the Dark Factory and the the Card of Demise, because like I said, Cards of Demise locks you out of special summon, and if you've already special summoned, it becomes one big brick in your hand. So now with that card no longer being in the deck, oh wait, no, this isn't the new version of it. I guess I don't have a replay with the new version. Interesting. But yeah, it actually ends up flowing a lot better because now that I don't have that card, I don't have to worry about, oh, should I special summon this duel? Is it a good idea, or should I wait for Card of Demise? I can just special summon to my heart's content, and then equip Bamboo Swords to the special summon monsters, and, you know, just be on my way to summon Exodia. And I noticed, I got those 2 Royal Magical Libraries very quickly. I usually have to play with 1 Royal Magical Library for a while before I can get a second one. So that's actually pretty cool there. Then I play Upstart, got their counter, and there we go. Exodia, my friend, you know what to do. Boom. All right, so I actually have two more duels here that I want to show off. Is this one? Oh, I just oof. I showed a duel that I had already showed. That is a rip and a half right there. Oh, I can't believe I've done this. Okay, so I gotta go to duel. I gotta go to duel. I remember now. Sorry about that. Brain fart, guys. Brain fart. Brain fart. So I go to match history actually. Ignore the losses. I was playing Exodia, so you know how that goes. You know how that goes. I got a win here after 4 turns. I doubt this was Exodia though. Was this Exodia? As I do remember one game, I ended up Exodiaing somebody, not on turn 1, which was really surprising to me considering I was in Platinum rank. Let's see, was this Exodia or is this a Maju? Is this a Maju duel? No, this is an Exodia duel! This is an Exodia duel! I went on turn 4 with Exodia? What? This is why it is never over. It is not over until the last card is played. Oh, and this is the new iteration. This is the newest iteration of my Exodia deck. This is the newest iteration right here. This is actually yeah, this is the newest one. I ended up replacing cards, Card of Demise with 1 day apiece. But yeah, this guy was just negating me left and right there. I could have played Into the Void, but I was afraid it was gonna brick me and force him to discard my whole hand at the end of the turn. So I chose, you know what, let me just wait, see what he has next turn. Then I played a Royal Magical Library. And then, you already know, started building counters on it. Checking game, draw a card. Foolish Burial, send the Cursed Bamboo Sword to the graveyard. You know how I would do. Oh yeah, get that Broken Bamboo Sword, use the effect of Royal Magical Library. And now we have 3 Golden Bamboo Swords in our hand. Best case scenario. You love to see it. You really love to see it. Activated the effect of Royal Magical Library yet again. And I think this is actually the turn I ended up winning, because I noticed it's turn 4. I won on turn 4. So I think, yeah, I think this is where we won. Yeah, this guy tried everything. Through 2 negates, he still could not stop the almighty Exodia the Forbidden One. On turn 4, I survived 3 whole turns and summoned the almighty Exodia. This is amazing. I forgot that I won a turn 4 duel. Like, I know I had won a turn 2 duel earlier. I actually won 2 turn 2 duels earlier. I'm gonna show one of them because one, in my opinion, was very wholesome. It was very wholesome. So, but I forgot that I actually won one on turn 4. But yeah, there we go. After a whole bunch of negates, he couldn't stop the Exodia. Could not stop it. It's awesome. But now, moving on to the duel that I really enjoyed. This was wholesome. I liked it. I think was it? Which one of these was it? Hang on. I think it was this one. I'll just play the replay and see what happens. Let's see. If I see Eater of Millions, then this isn't it. Alright, so I open up Royal Magical Library in my hand. This is a super bad opening hand. He has Danger Bigfoot, so this is the Eater of Millions deck. Yeah, this is the Eater of Millions. Yeah, he went first, and then I ended up summoning Exodia on him, even though I went second, which was very surprising. You know, usually when you go second, it's never a good sign while you're playing Exodia. Usually going second is a death sentence for this deck. But I pulled off the victory here. I started out with a really, really bad hand, so it's actually very surprising that I ended up winning this duel. Got back by Into the Void there, sent a Cursed Bamboo to the graveyard. That was basically just drawing a whole bunch of cards. Ooh, I unfast forwarded it there. My bad. Now I actually could have summoned Summoner Monk there and sent Broken Bamboo Sword to my graveyard to get another Royal Magical Library on the field, but I guess I didn't really see that play because I guess I was a bit nervous, or like I had given up hope at this point. I was just playing to play. I didn't really realize my play there. There I had Card of the Demise, so I ended up drawing 2 Exodia pieces. It's pretty awesome right there. There I have Magical Stone. I'm gonna send 2 Exodia, or not. Oh no, yeah, that's right. I didn't send my Exodia pieces to the graveyard in this duel because I didn't know what this trap was. I was afraid that this trap was gonna be something that could banish one of my pieces, and obviously if one of the pieces gets banished, that's game over, because I have no way to bring it back from being banished. I only have ways to bring it back from the graveyard. So if it gets banished, that's game. But yeah, that was the duel where he made me go second, and miraculously I ended up winning. This is the wholesome duel here. This guy is a diamond rank player. You're gonna see why I say it was wholesome. To give you a little backstory, in this duel, I was one win away from ranking up. It gave me the message before the duel that if I win, I rank up. So I was literally only 1 rank away, and then this happens. So the duel starts off. No, it's like any other duel. Unfortunately, I don't open up with Royal Magical Library. I open up with just a bunch of spells, so I do what I can. Use the stone, send the Cursed Bamboo Sword to the graveyard to bring out my Into the Void. I take out a Broken Bamboo Sword. It's not looking very good for me right now. Not looking very good at all. I'm just drawing into more draws, you know? So I special summon my Pendulum Upstart, which for some reason it's not showing the picture. I don't know why the replays do that sometimes. I attach my Broken Bamboo Sword to it, use Golden Bamboo Sword, then I use Magical Stone Excavation, break out another Golden Bamboo Sword, use it, finally drew Magical Library, send a Cursed Bamboo Sword to the graveyard. That's 1 counter. Got a Golden Bamboo, play it. Alright, I play double summon, play Golden Bamboo to get the 3rd counter, activate Royal Magical Library, activate Into the Void, Cursed Bamboo, Broken Bamboo once again for the 3rd counter, draw the card, play Magical Library, Magical Mallet, and Upstart, and I brick. I have no choice but to end my turn. Now this absolute legend, I guess he admired He admired the fact that I didn't surrender. Most people, when they use Exodia decks, if they brick, they surrender right away. I guess he found it admirable the fact that I stayed and was willing to accept my defeat like a man. So here's what this legend does. He surrenders the duel and lets me rank up. He saw I bricked and didn't want to give up. I was willing to accept my defeat, so he surrendered to give me my rank of victory. Not all heroes wear capes, people. But that was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. I really enjoyed looking through all those replays, and I thought that, I should share with y'all. I thought y'all would, get a kick out of seeing those as well. And there were a lot of very cool, very fun Exodia wins there. And yeah, just wanted to share that with y'all guys. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.